Word of warning for this video, a lot of dogs did not leave this program alive. So, the Soviets, not really the most ethical of people, really like to send stuff to space, and they had a program where dogs were put onto rockets and sent into space. All these fuzzy astronauts were strays, and they were girls because they were usually better tempered. They were trained in isolation chambers and these spinning centrifuges. They strapped the dogs in, and it spun so fast that it felt like they were launching from a spaceship. First three, these girls were named Dizik and Siegin. They were the first two dogs to visit space, but not on a traditional ship. Both dogs rode on an R-1 tactical missile. Despite being put on an ICBM, the dogs survived safely after parachuting down. Ignoring orders, when the scientists saw them land safely, they ran towards the dogs excitedly screaming, "They're alive! They're barking!" However, the next story does not have happy as an ending. Dizik and another dog named Lisa were about to land from a suborbital flight, but the parachute failed and both dogs crashed into the ground. Siegin was then adopted by Anatoly Bregnev. The original three dogs at this point were all retired. Now we have the story of Bobik and Zazmenia Izventuchu Bobiku. Her name is a bit of a mouthful, so she's usually referred to as Zeeb. Bobik was about to be sent to space, but then, the day before launch, she ran away. The Soviets, not wanting to cancel the mission, found a dog that was chilling in a barracks and with no chair, and substitute for missing Bobik was sent to space and came back alive. Another dog was Maya. She was found, however, and put on a ship with Malushka. The flight was successful, the landing was not. Parachute failure led to both dogs being killed in a crash. Speaking of mechanical failure, the dogs Demka and Krasvatka were supposed to make an orbital flight. However, the upper stage of the rocket failed. That would usually eject the dogs from the rocket and cause the rocket to self-destruct, but the ejection seat failed along with the self-destruct mechanism. The dogs made it to space and fell back to Earth without a parachute. When the Soviets found the capsule, the dogs were declared dead, and after 24 hours of digging through snow, they opened the hatch, and these dogs had the audacity to stay alive in negative 40-degree weather for 24 hours after falling from space without a parachute. The dogs lived 24 years after being adopted by Oleg Esneko. Next, we have the short story of Bars and Lishka. The dogs were supposed to make the first dogs in orbit, but the rocket exploded 28 seconds after launch. Laika is the most famous of the space dogs. She was the first living animal in orbit, and she was the first non-living animal in orbit. There's a lot of info on Laika out there, she's worth her own video. Laika's two, less talked about, but more successful comrades, Bilka and Strelka, were the first dogs to spend a day in orbit and returned alive. They returned seen as heroes, and Strelka went on to have 6 puppies. One of the puppies, named Pushnika, was given to President Kennedy. Pushnika's kids, called the Pupniks, had a line of dogs that went down from there. The dogs that followed Belka and Strelka were Plasuska and Mushka. An error caused them to deorbit safely, but they were going to land on foreign land. The Soviets, not wanting the opponents to get science from the mission, blew up the capsule, killing both dogs. This is Chernushka. She made it to orbit and back safely. On the capsule was a guinea pig and a test dummy. They came back all okay. Zafatutska was the last dog that was in space before Yuri, but she wasn't the last of the dogs to be put up there. Vechak and Yuligak spent 21 days and they came back happy. These were the last of the dogs to be put in space. Overall, the program was considered successful, although 17 dogs lost their lives in the program. They are the strays that will never be forgotten. Thank you for watching.